We are live. Welcome back to Earle Sports Bets. And today we got day 12 of MLB season previews. We're almost done with the American League, Tim.
Yes,
We're
sir.
on to day 2 of the American League West, and we've got last year's wild card winners and first round winners, the Seattle Mariners. So let's take a quick look back at what they did last year. And then we'll take a look at their additions, their subtractions, and all the other jazz we like to look at here during our season previews. This team finally broke their playoff drought last year. They finished 16 games behind the Astros. Luckily for them, the Astros won 106 games. They won 90 baseball games last year.
Really good. They were
making
solid.
The playoffs for the first time since 2001. They beat the Toronto Blue Jays in the first round of the playoffs 2-0. Before getting swept by said Houston Astros. So we ready to get into this Seattle Mariners team, which is going to be a very fun
excited for them. I'm excited for this team, yes.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Additions / re-signings and subtractions. Cole Calhoun, Tommy La Stella, Colton Wong, and of course the big name there, Teoscar Hernandez. And for subtractions, Jesse Winker, Abraham Toro, Luke Weaver, Eric Swanson, Kyle Lewis. So let's take a look at their subtractions first. Kyle Lewis there. Jesse Winker and Abraham Toro were part of the Colton Wong trade. And part of the Teoscar Hernandez trade was, I believe, Kyle Lewis. And no, it wasn't Kyle Lewis. Was it? I don't remember. But Eric Swanson was definitely part of that trade.
Yep.
I like the addition of Teoscar Hernandez. He gives a nice little pop in the middle of that lineup. He's going to be hitting. He's going to be hitting cleanup. So I think that addition definitely adds some nice power in the middle of that lineup. A nice little power bat there. Colton Wong is going to give you a nice leadoff hitter, very professional hitter. That'll
and a really good glove.
Yeah, who you would be able to hit. Who will be able to hit for average, get on base, steal bases, things along those lines. Great leadoff hitter. Jesse Winker and Abraham Toro. I like those bats in the middle of the lineup there. That will be a little bit of a loss. Eric Swanson out of the bullpen. He was good out of the bullpen. He's going to be a little bit of a loss. But overall, I do think this team got maybe slightly better. I like the additions they made, and their subtractions not as bad as we may think.
I'm actually okay with them getting rid of Winker. Winker was a guy that was very inconsistent. He was fantastic in Cincinnati. He was not good in Seattle. And I think any Seattle fan will agree on me with that one, that getting rid of him was not a bad thing. And especially getting Colton Wong in return. Colton Wong's got a lot of potential. He's got a really good glove. He hits for average. I think that's a fantastic move. Cole Calhoun getting a nice little piece in that in the lineup, and a good veteran presence. I like that one. T.O. is going to bring a big bat to this lineup that I don't want to say that they needed, but it's definitely fantastic for them to get. And then Tommy La Stella is going to be a nice kind of bench piece for them to work with. I think that's actually a nice spot for the Seattle, who finally made it to a playoff last year. And they had one of the biggest comebacks in playoff history.
Yes, that was a fun game last year, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Mariners money line never in doubt.
Yeah, but this is a team. I'm high on this team. Like, oh, there goes ESPN making noise. Cool, thank you.
Oh, I didn't even hear it.
No, well, I heard it, and I was it because I have the college basketball scores up on the side. This is a fantastic. This is going to be a really good team this year, and I'm happy with the additions, the subtractions. I think the biggest one is Toro. Although Winker was it was an okay piece. Toro's on the bottom of the lineup, but he was somebody that had a little bit of pop, was able to steal bases. I think they're going to miss that a little bit, but sure. Getting T.O. in there and Cole Calhoun, I think they'll be fine. This is going to be a team that I think is going to set up really nicely to have a nice race with the Astros this year.
Yeah. Over to the chat. I thought that the Teoscar signing was very important. Yes, I really like the Teoscar Hernandez signing. I think Blue Jays fans will miss him. Hey guys, what up? Hit the like. Can't wait to cap baseball with you guys. Absolutely.
I'm excited. I'm ready.
Can't wait for baseball here. Sup knee.
That's a new one. Okay.
Seattle ended up 90 and 72 on the money line last year, up 10.6 units with them. Yes, they were a money-making team.
They were fantastic.
Actually, that didn't start till about May, June-ish. Like
there was a while, because I remember I was super high on the Mariners last year. I said that I liked them to win the division. I thought they had a World Series team that possibly can make it. And then they started off, 10 games under 500. They were like 24 and 34 at one point or something like that. And then they had a complete turnaround and won like 16 games in a row. So they obviously had a big run, but this is still a team that was one of the hottest teams in baseball the last 4 or 5 months of the year.
Yeah. Supness. There we go. Don't text and drive at the same time. I'm now trying to look at the banners to click to the next one. I forgot I actually have to click on the screen. Yeah. Top prospects. Not too much to go over here. No. Not really much to go over. They're 22nd according to 1500 rankings for their farm system. They have a catching prospect due in 2025. He's in high A ball. Yeah. And Bryce Miller is their projected player to come up this year. He's number 98, right-handed pitching due this year. Nothing really to go over.
No, nothing really. No, you got to keep in mind, most of their big prospects are up in the majors now. So
yeah, most of their big prospects, Julio Rodriguez and Kalinick, they're already in the majors. So we'll look at the lineup here. This is going to be an interesting lineup here. Colton Wong, Julio Rodriguez, Ty France, Teoscar Hernandez, Eugenio Suarez, Cal Raleigh, Jared Kalinick, AJ Pollock, and JP Crawford. Their rotation will consist of Luis Castillo, Robbie Ray, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, and Marco Gonzalez. Their bullpen, Chris Flexen, Matt Festa, Trevor Gott, Penn Murphy, Matt Brash, Diego Castillo, Andres Munoz, and their closer is Paul Sewald. He took over the closing role last year. I like this bullpen that they got here. I like the long relief guy with Chris Flexen. He's going to bounce between that and the bullpen.
Yes.
So and my bad in the rotation. He's probably going to bounce back and forth. He'll be that spot starter. If there's an injury in this rotation, he'll be the number 5 guy. So he's definitely someone I like in the front end of the bullpen there. Back end of the bullpen between Brash and Castillo and Munoz and Sewald, that's really strong.
Yes.
This team is going to compete. I don't know if I'm going to stay for the division. I still think the Astros are the better team in this division, but this team is on the up and up and definitely can make some noise in the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if the team that represents the American League comes from the West and it's this team here, honestly. Am I betting any futures with this team? We'll get to that in the next slide. I don't know how to approach this team. I truly don't know how to bet this team, but I really like their lineup. I think this is a team that we can look to bet on this year, obviously. I think they're going to win baseball games, and I just don't know when it comes to futures and stuff like that, how I'm going to bet them yet.
Yeah, I want to mention something quickly with Luis Castillo. I feel like we should probably have put him in the additions for the first slide, just because they signed him during and a lot of Seattle fans are going to look at the offseason and go, wow, we didn't really make a lot of moves. And I forgot to mention this earlier. Castillo, they got at the trade deadline and then extended. He's going to be extended at the deadline for a while, if not the rest of his career.
He wasn't somebody that wasn't in the offseason, so that's why I didn't put it under additions.
It wasn't part of the offseason, but it was during trade deadline, and then they kind of extended him.
Yes,
I would count that as an addition. But anyways, this lineup, Colton Wong is going to be, although I do think it'll end up being Julio who will end up batting first. In my opinion, I think he should. Colton Wong, I believe, should be a 5-6 hitter down there, but I think Julio, that or just switch Julio and Wong up on the top. I love Ty France. I think he's fantastic. Tio in the middle of the lineup is going to be fantastic. Eugenio Suarez is a humongous hit or miss. And I feel like you're either going to, you can get two things out of Suarez this year. He can lead the league in home runs, 100%. He could also lead the league in strikeouts. Like he is
both.
He could be in both because I feel like his at bats are either home runs, strikeouts, or walks. There's nothing in between. So he doesn't really hit for average, but he's been a solid piece if he can get his
power bat. He's a power bat.
Good power bat. Cal Riley, I mean, he had that big home run that sent him to the playoffs. Jared Kelenic, I mean, we saw him when he played for the Mets. We saw him last year. He was part of that Edwin Diaz trade. So obviously Seattle was very high on him. He has not came up to that. I cannot say that I'm banking on him to do anything. I don't know how long he stays up in the majors. Maybe he changed some things and he's going to be fantastic. I hope for the best for him. AJ Pollock, JP Crawford. I really like Crawford. I think he's going to be solid at the bottom of that rotation. That rotation. I love that rotation. We'll get to Luis Castillo in a minute. Logan Gilbert's my guy. I had a Cy Young taking on him last year. I think he's going to be fantastic this year. Robbie Ray, if he can get his act together and not give up meatballs all the time, I think he could be solid. Kirby, I love Kirby. I think he's gonna have a really good year, and Marco Gonzalez is gonna have a really good year. Those are the young guys that they need to have on the bottom of that rotation to get jobs done and be able to eat up innings. And I think they're going to be able to do really, really solid this year. I'll make an argument saying that this rotation is a top 5 rotation in baseball. We'll seriously have an argument with that. I really like Castillo, really like Gilbert, Kirby, Gonzalez. Robbie Ray is probably the weak point in that rotation. But and then the bullpen's solid. We saw last year what they were able to do. There was a game that was 0-0 going into the 13th. That shows how good that bullpen is. And the bullpen was a big reason. They played a lot of one-run games. And that bullpen was the reason why they were able to turn a lot of those into wins. So this Seattle team is going to be really, really strong this year. And we'll get into some of their futures and stuff on this next slide. But I'm excited for this team. And they will be on my card a lot.
Yeah. We'll get into these futures here. Their season win total is 87.5. That's kind of surprising that they win 90 games last year and it's at 87.5. They think they got worse. To make the playoffs is minus 165. To miss the playoffs is plus 135. To win the American League West is plus 310. To win the American League is 10-1. To win the World Series is 22-1. I think the only team I'm betting to win the American League and the World Series, we did their video yesterday, that's the Houston Astros. I don't really see value in it. I don't really see any other teams, and I don't feel like really I'm going to be betting any other teams. I think if I'm attacking the Mariners here, I'm taking over 87.5 wins. And that's kind of the way I'm going to approach with this because I think this is a 90-win ball club again. I think they kind of repeat what they did last year. Unfortunately for them, they won't get as many games against the Angels and Athletics this year as they did last year and the Rangers as they did last year. So that may hurt them a little bit for their win total. Maybe their strength of schedule is going to be a little bit more difficult having to play other divisions more. But with that being said, probably I'm going to lean towards the over 87.5 wins. Don't know if I'm going to get to the window to it. That's where I'm thinking for this team.
Yeah. I was typing a couple of things into my spreadsheet. I do have a slide or I do have a banner for it. So bada bing, bada boom. M's, I'm taking the over 87.5. I'm taking a shot with them to win the AL West. I think this team can compete, and the fact that I'm getting $3 for it, I will 100% jump all over that. Castillo for Cy Young, I think he's going to be one of the best pitchers in baseball. He was in Houston, and I think he's going to be in Seattle. He just has to have some good games against Houston. I think he'll have a really, really solid year. And then I would be wrong to not have this guy in my MVP list as well. Because I have – who else do I have for MVP? This will be the third person that I have an MVP prop for. The other two are 66-1 with Altuve and 30-1 with Rutschman from the Orioles. So I'm going to have 3 MVP props. Julio is the last one, plus $7. I'm taking a shot with him too. I think he had a fantastic first year. I'm going to jump on him the second year as well. This is banking that Judge and Ohtani and Trout have kind of rough years, but I don't see the Yankees doing all that, going crazy, and the Angels are the Angels. So taking J-Rod a little bit for plus $7 MVP prop. So those are my futures for the not the Astros, but the Mariners.
Mariners.
There you go.
Yeah. But that's just about it. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to bet a future with this team. If anything, it's over 87.5 wins, but I think there's better teams to bet for me. I just don't have too much of a read for this team because I can easily see them taking a step back this year.
Could, but I'm going to bank on them not.
Yeah. Over to occupancy in the chat here. Seattle was 83.79 on the run line, minus 3.6 units because they were probably dogs a decent amount.
Yeah, the run line prop I'm not really going crazy with because that on covers is plus 1.5 and minus 1.5. So
yeah, 76 and 78 over under. Yeah, they were pretty good. That was pretty balanced for them. You have to look how many times their team total over hit last year. Yeah, still don't care for the M's. I don't know why. Richie says maybe because you're a Rangers fan. Maybe start looking at Rodriguez stolen base props.
Yes,
I've been hearing. Yes, definitely. Those are something
I think you got to start looking at all that stuff in general. So
yeah, but I believe that's just about it for this show. Anything you want to mention before we head on out?
No, I think I think the matchup between Houston and Seattle is going to be super fun to watch this year. So
yeah, I can definitely see that. But that is everything for the Seattle Mariners show. We want to thank you guys as always for watching. Tomorrow, LA Angels with picks from Dave. We'll be talking some LA Angels tomorrow. Rangers the next day, Athletics, and then we're done with the American League. We can move on to the National League. But until then,
we might try to do the last two teams on one day, the Rangers and the
A's. Two separate streams.
Two separate shows. The A's show is going to be very quick. I promise you that.
They suck. Moving on.
The A's suck. Move on. Anyways.
All right. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys as always for watching. Good luck.